Thank you for welcoming me onto your screens, onto headphones, depending on how you're watching this. I'm Eddie, and this is The Rollback. Folks, I'm here to talk to you today about No One Will Save You, aka, Safe Room but with aliens? Sorta? So, this movie stars Caitlin Dever playing Bryn, a young lady living by herself in her hometown, small town, who has a very quiet and meek existence. She suffers from clearly some form of anxiety, social awkwardness, although you're not really sure at the beginning, but as the movie goes on, you begin to see why she's a bit of this outcast in this town. No spoilers, but it's a heartbreaking reason why. Anyway, that said, this film kind of sets itself up as like this thriller about, burglary almost. That's what the trailer initially led us to believe. Turns out, it's aliens. And aliens that So in most films, you see the alien very sparingly. This film, no, you see the whole thing, and frequently. There's multiple aliens incarcerated in this film. This movie is one of those that takes place over the course of, I would say, 2 days or so, 2 nights, with the aliens coming after Bryn. However, she sometimes feels like there's no one she can really go to for obvious reasons. She is, after all, the town pariah. You find out why later on. This movie is outstanding because it doesn't have any dialogue. It's mostly action. It only has 2 lines, and one of those is an apology. I won't tell you why. I'll get to the spoiler part in a minute. But nonetheless, up until this point in the film, it is outstanding. It is a thriller. You are stressed. You are anxious. You're cheering for this girl to succeed because even with the lack of dialogue, you cannot but feel like she is, at the very least, a good person. You're cheering for her throughout the film, and it gets a little more stressful the longer you go. That said, we're going to the spoiler room brawl in 3, 2... So, the reason why Bryn is the town pariah is because she killed her childhood best friend, Muden. She killed her childhood best friend during an argument. She hit her in the head with a rock. Again, she was a kid. I'm not sure if this took place before or after her mother passed away, but nonetheless, it's a bit of a heartbreaking scene. The aliens are continuously trying to get control of her. At one point, feeding her this weird octopus alien, finally getting control of Bryn, actually creating like a secondary clone of her. But somehow, she manages to fight her way through. She realizes that the reality that she's living in her dream is not real, fights her way back, I think earning the respect of the aliens to some degree in that way. But also, once they get her into the flying saucer, into the mothership, I would assume, technically, they kind of retrace her trauma, her bad memories, and she goes back to the day that she killed Martin, and apologizes. She apologizes for what she did. The one of the few lines in this entire film is, "I'm so sorry." And that's odd, because normally aliens are not depicted as having empathy or any kind of emotion, but in this case, I think either they felt pity or understood her suffering. Perhaps because maybe the aliens are pariah in their own right, so they understand, her plague. So, she's allowed to exist on her own. And in stark contrast from the opening of this film, where no one will even look at her, let alone say hi, in the end, everyone is cheering, happy to see her, welcoming her. She even goes to a dance. Which, I don't know what that says. I think maybe to some degree about our empathy as human beings to help out other people. But also maybe our ability to judge others. I'm not quite sure. It's a great film. By far outstanding. He's a relatively young director. Mr. Brian Duffield. I think he only directed one other film. He's produced several others, including stuff like Cocaine Bear and was Love and Monsters. An unusual film to say the least. But yeah, No One Will Save You is a bit of a fringe genre film. Again, it presents itself initially as like a home break-in, movie. However, it quickly turns into an alien film, which also props to them. You will see quite a bit of the aliens. They actually look pretty good. They don't really hide them that much, and their designs are somewhat unique. They are varied throughout. You get this weird spider one, you get this weird short one, the standard little green men. There's a variety of aliens, and I'll give them credit for that. The film seemingly ends with humanity conquered, with the exception of Bryn and probably a few others. Maybe other people that have truly known suffering and that have the capacity to forgive, or maybe capacity to apologize, perhaps? I'm not quite sure. But that said, this film, I am going to give it a B. It is a solid film. I would recommend it to others, especially with Halloween coming up. It will definitely stress you out. That said, what did you think of this film? Go ahead and comment down below. We'd greatly appreciate it, and we'll catch you all later. We'll see everyone.